welcome back to the studio. It is another week and another update. So I wanted to kind of touch base on a couple of things. First and foremost, how the festival went last weekend at the Oklahoma Contemporary Art Market. I'm also going to talk a little bit about the festival I have coming up this weekend in the village, and a little bit about some of this new work that I'm working on. So firstly, I had a wonderful market at Oklahoma Contemporary. This is their first annual, and it was really, really good. I got a really good booth location. I had a lot of fun doing it. I had a lot of really good people come through. I had these one ladies, they were so sweet. They recommended the Portrait Artist of the Year, which is a British competition show, and that is on Amazon Prime, and I'm addicted now. I've watched 3 seasons of it since last weekend. That's a problem. But it's really interesting because you see all these different painters painting in different ways, and I don't even really do portraits, but I just think it's so fascinating to see how artists work differently from one another, their process and their mindset, and the whole thing is very, very cool. So that was a really good recommendation that I got from them. I sold 6 or 7 originals, which for an artist is an absolute dream. I mean, I love selling prints, and it's really validating when people want to purchase your work, but when you sell an original, it means so much. It's really somebody making an investment in you as an artist, and it's always going to be exciting. I sold the cranes that I had been working on previously that had the stripes on them, and I was so happy to sell that because it was probably one of the most fun pieces in the series of work that I'm kind of doing right now. I don't normally do anything that non-representational. It was different. It was playful. It was a little whimsical. And so for somebody to beeline it to that painting in the booth and make that purchase, it was really, really exciting. So I definitely want to make some more stripe pieces because of that. I sold a few different things from the new farm animal collection, and I sold my fireflies, just a lot of this newer work that I'm putting out that's a lot less fussy. So it's really interesting to see that that's kind of what people are taking from the work and what it is that they're loving. And I love that they love it because it's been the most fun to paint. So I was in love with that. That was last weekend, and coming up this weekend, I have a festival in the village. It is also their first annual. This will be an arts festival near their municipal building. And I'm just really excited. I have high hopes. I think it's going to go really, really well. It's going to be a beautiful October day. I think people will be happy to come out and experience some art, and I'll get to talk to people. And I'm doing a new booth setup. I'm going to kind of experiment with the way that my panels are set up and how I display the work. And I was thinking about taking some of my fabric work to this one. My flag pieces have always been a really, really popular part of my body of work. So for me to have that in the booth, I think is going to be a really good idea to have a little bit of something for everyone. And it also references the prints that I have that are flags. And those always sell. So I think that that's going to be kind of interesting to figure out how I'm going to arrange them within the booth to make them make sense together as a body of work. So I will get back with you on that. I will definitely be posting on Instagram if you want to see kind of what I'm up to that day. It is 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. So it's going to be, beautiful day. Come out and see me. And then kind of the last thing I wanted to touch on for my studio update is the work that I'm doing right now. So I worked on both of these today. This is my new conceptual just play with it piece. It's actually related to something that I did for Birdtober, which I haven't talked about at all, but Birdtober's going really well. I am actually painting and drawing something every day. I'm posting a video of it every day. I'm being very, very consistent, so I'm very proud of that. But let me pull the piece up. So excited about this. So this is that sketchbook that we saw last week, and I've been really consistent in here, but I worked on this piece right here. And And this is an indigo bunting. I did it on pokeweed, which is a native plant. And if you know me at all, you know that I love natives, which is why I'm doing the native bird series. The colors though, oh God, I love the colors so much. It's kind of like a hot pink or bubblegum pink in there too. There's a little bit of both. With the blues and the greens and the washiness, and it's just like one of those things that gets me like really excited. Like, you know, like whenever you're onto something that the work is like really good or you're really happy with it, like your heart races a little bit. This one is doing that for me. So I'm actually going to revisit this twice. So I love the watercolor, but these are, I don't want to say it's like strictly a study or sketch for me, because it does feel a little bit more developed than that. But I'm going to be doing this twice. Once on a wood panel. And so what I wanted to do was stain the wood background with those greens and the earthy tones and have some of the like leaves and stuff being kind of really washy and loose, and then kind of moving more into the foreground. I'll layer it up a little bit more where you see those leaves coming into focus a bit, and then the bird in front will be very detailed, very accurate. Then I have this one that I'm working on as well, kind of a similar concept, but going back to that show that I've been watching, and also just, you know, in general, I've been inspired by painters who paint a lot looser than I do. So in this one, I'm really just trying to like break out of my rut, and I won't say rut, but break out of, you know, how I've painted for so long and give myself something that's like really loose, really playful in the background. I was going to take a oil pastel stick in a lime green and just kind of like scribble and get just really into it, gestural, big strokes, lots of looseness, playful, some splatter, just play. And then over the top of that, I was going to do the indigo bunting in a very, very, very fleshed out, detailed version. So I'm like super excited to play with that. And I have like a million ideas written down. I mean, between doing the Birdtober series, which is giving me ideas on different birds that I may want to paint that I maybe wasn't familiar with before. I'm just like having a blast with that. So that would be that. And then I also worked on these cows over here, and I'm not going to pick them up because it's super wet, but I will put a picture in the video. This was a piece that I've been wanting to work on for like at least a week or two. I saw this same scene essentially multiple times over the last couple of months. They're on my way to Stillwater from our house. Is just like where we go all the time because it's one of the closest metros. There are fields of goldenrod or some other native yellow plant, but it's the whole field just saturated with yellow, and it's incredible. And I've seen cows dotted in them. I've never managed to stop and get a reference image, but it's just kind of been floating in my head, like cows and goldenrod. So this one, I really wanted it to be a lot looser. And so it's mostly palette knife. I also worked out the colors in the sky, which, I don't know, everything just came together. The underpainting was in orange. I did this really loose underpainting over the top of that in acrylic, which I don't normally do. And then over the top of that, I did the oil, used palette knife. The whole thing is very layered. The cows in the background are very loose. And it just really came together exactly how I had pictured it in my head. All right, well, that is the update for this week. And I will touch back in with you guys next week whenever I have a little bit more new work. And I have been to another festival. So see you then.